Long live the Queen. Look at that. Medora, good stick. Anyway, um, I was sitting there thinking about my years of truck driving. Barack Obama, Treyvon Martin, Donald Trump, and a whole slew of other things that made me venomous. In a lot, I've said a lot of venomous things online, boy. And I just want to put it into. I just feel like I need to explain it. How I arrived at that point. I'm not that way now. I'm trying not to be that way. I was trucking late '90s, uh, and from coast to coast, all lower 48 states. I heard the most venomous shit on the radio, right? Then I got to a trucking company in around 2003 called NEMF, which was regional. I got home every other day. I would go out, leave Irwin and go to, say, Springfield, Massachusetts, spend the night, drive around, turn around, come back. But it was a union gig, and there was several other drivers. There would be, if there was 30 guys leaving that night, um, there were four of us that were black, the rest were all white, right? And during the Bush years, nobody would say anything. They'd say little stuff that, I would kind of, have to check on them. Like one time one guy talked about Muhammad Ali. And I was like, hold up, dog. You ain't going to talk about no motherfucking Muhammad Ali up in here. I ain't going to let you trample my hero because he didn't go fight your fucking Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? I literally stood up and was like, whoop. All you crackers need to, shut the fuck up. I said that in the middle of the term. But anyway, we all used to truck together and go up into the Northeast, New England states, New Jersey, upstate New York, whatnot. And we would pretty much truck together. And we would talk on the radio. So I wasn't on Channel 19 so much, And, so thought I was surrounded by friends. Then Barack Obama becomes president, or was running for president, then became president. And the whole temperature changed to the point where they would go to side channels, the high side of this channel or that channel, low side of this channel or that channel, and, go to, different frequency, on the radio so you couldn't hear what they were saying. So I had gotten a big radio and I started listening in, but I wouldn't say anything. I just listened. And the things that they said about black people, Barack Obama, minorities in general, it just was like, wow, right? But yet, it was to be expected. Because I had been trucking for years. So that's what happens in trucking, right? I mean, like, there's a lot of racism. That's CB warfare. I gotta fire this up. Oh, okay. It's still there. But anyway. Just, calling Barack Obama's wife a monkey and like she's some transgender and just all the above. Just all the bullshit, right? Then Trayvon Martin gets killed. And the way they talked about that young boy. And the way they acted as if he deserved it. And my position on the whole thing was he was the one standing his ground. He was the one being stalked, followed. And you're saying he had no right to confront this man before he followed him back to his house or wherever he was staying? he stood his ground and said, hey, the problem was he didn't have a gun. Yeah, he swung. I probably would have too. You would have, if you're being followed by a strange man, yeah, probably would, right? Or run, try, something, But he was a guy with a gun. And you all know that story. So, fast forward a little bit, Donald Trump becomes president. I'm no longer trucking. But I stayed close with some guys from trucking. Anglo evangelical Christians. And they would vote this right-wing Christian shit, right? That's how they were voting, And I see it with black people, too. I have some black friends who are evangelicals. They probably all go to white churches. And they think the same bullshit way. I mean, we are some of the most confused motherfuckers on the planet. But just to go back to me, fuck all that. I'm listening to him talk about Donald Trump versus Hillary and all this other conspiracy shit and all this other shit. Trump becomes president. And MAGA, Proud Boys, all the things that I was during the presidency that I talked about and pointed out on Facebook Live time and time again. This guy was blind to it. Sometimes he would say, "Yeah, I know," but well, what are you gonna do? It was, he was turning a blind eye to it, right? But this was a person I thought was friend, right? Then January 6th happens. He loses the election. January 6th, he's believing all his election was stolen, all this bullshit. Trump shit. I'm coming from Wichita, Kansas. My cousin had passed, went out to Wichita, and went there before he passed to see him. And I'm coming back. Was the next day was January 7th to be exact. And I called him. I said, "Hey man, I told you what this motherfucker was going to do." And he did it. And he said to me, "I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about, how about the black guy who killed the white kid? A black guy had killed a white kid. It was something with his parents were on drugs, some shit." And I said to him, I said, "That motherfucker got caught and that motherfucker's going to jail. And there ain't no way he's beating it." You only hear I would raise questions whenever a white cop kills a black kid. I would say, a black guy or something, I'm like, he's going to beat it. Or, there was a reason. We knew that what culturally we expected what the justice system would do with the black guys. We all seen Rodney King get beat, and we all seen them all the cops get off. We all seen those things, right? And so I was like, this brother's going to jail for killing that kid. Sad thing, He went on and on about it. And I was like, man, I called you to talk about January 6th, but he's talking to me as if I knew the dude who committed the crime. And I noticed, I was like, you all seem to lump us into this, like the black guy across the street, not like the guy lived across the street and I knew him personally, versus the guy lived somewhere in the country and I'm somehow connected to this, and we're not all related. We're not all We all don't think the same, you know. Whenever the white dude messes up, the way the news portrays it, and white people, is, the white dude, well, not the white dude who messed up, this man who did this, he's going to jail or whatever. Okay, you know. But when we do it, it always seems to be like we're in this club. We're all together, right? They view us all, no matter what your station in life, we're all viewed the same as the motherfucker fucking up on the street, right? We're not individual, right, in their eyes. And he proved that to me, right? So I ended up blowing up, and I said, you know what, man? I don't give a fuck about that kid. This is the last words I had with this guy, and I'm laughing, but I truly am not. Didn't feel this way, but at the moment, I was so mad that it was insulting to me, right? And I was just like, fuck that kid, fuck you. I don't care about him. I'm talking about an insurrection for a guy you voted for. And the whole time that Donald Trump was president, I was in a place where I seen and I felt this dude could potentially set us back, not just black, white people too, hundreds of years. He could set us back decades. He will reverse all things, you know. My voting rights are potentially at stake, and I'm telling this guy this, who I thought was my friend. And he seemed like, nah, yeah, well, you know. Your friend, you're right. And so I was acting out of I threw bombs at things with my rhetoric because and it didn't care about my white family members who may be affected about it, making them think of like, oh, whoa, what's wrong with Shell? What's going on here? Even though I got family members, mainly Italians, who are white, who, man, they've been with me since I was a little guy, and I love them dearly. I love them just as much as any of my other family members, right? But I threw grenades at you, just saying stuff. I mean, I know some of the things I said on Facebook, you all had to be like, this motherfucker is crazy. But I think that a lot of it was because of the years of trucking, listening, being close proximity, and thinking, maybe they all think that. Ignoring the allies, unfairly, ignoring the allies who happen to be white. Just blow it all up, right? So, I'm saying all this because we could potentially have another Trump presidency. And these same people are the MAGA people. Like, man, we got wars, potential world wars because Israel, which is a whole nother video, and I can go on and I'll get banned for life for that because you can't talk about that. But I'm not going to let it bother me this time. I'm going to post funny shit. I'm going to be more. I'm going to be less serious. And I've been that way since 2020 because I had my COVID for me was a rough trip. And I can do a whole video on COVID. Because every year, I don't think I did it this year, but I like celebrate surviving COVID because I thought I was on my way to the upper room. And it kind of made me feel like, be careful what you say to people because you don't know who you're hurting. Like, even though I was eavesdropping on conversations on the radio with people I worked with, it was hurtful shit. And the majority of it wasn't directed at me or about me. The majority was about us, meaning black people when I say us. And the black president, mainly the black president. Fox News. I used to, listen on satellite radio to Fox News all night. Just because that's what they listened to. And I wanted to know exactly what they thought and where they got their thinking from, and the talking points. And it's white ring propaganda, along with Anglo, I emphasize Anglo evangelical Christianship. Because those are, shoot, KKK members believe that they're more Christian than you. Okay, like they think that this is a God-given right. They don't burn a cross to tear, to light. What is it? As they say, we light the cross to God's glory or whatever the hell, right? Some old crazy shit. But I'm not going to be in that space no more. I'm not going to allow Donald Trump to get under my skin or anything that he might, but any racial I'm just not going to let it happen, but I say that hesitantly with hesitation because there's so much shit going on around here in this country, man. There's so much, let me get out of this sun. There's so much I can go on and and I'm trying to just really be careful what I say. But I will say this. Black folks, we have no friends. We have no allies. I take that back. We have allies. We have to love the allies we have and respect. But the ones who you think are allies, be mindful of most. Because true colors come out. And a lot of times, a lot of people show their true colors. Especially in these times, political times. And I just want to, I just want a way to, get I wish there was a magic wand where we can get ourselves together. Because there's so many things that divide us. We're divided with religion. We have people who will ignore the past in the name of God. We have people who will say, it's all about some money, get some money. And all your racial issues will come to an end. All yours might, or all ours, you might think just because you have some change, that it might change something. Some people who choose to ignore it. We have to get to a point where we say, what the fuck, man? It's all we got is each other. Because at the end of the day, we have to be we have to be more unified. And our unity there's always going to be, unfortunately, a black voice who will say, well, what about God? And we'll throw Jesus in the mix. Or we'll throw any religion into the mix. I don't care what you believe. I don't give a fuck. You could be worshiping the damn horse. It got to be about us. Go down, support your black businesses and be more conscious of our community in the way we carry ourselves and the way we love each other. I'm tired of hearing about black on black crime and all this other stuff that just plagues us. But when we talk about the roots of all that, like, we could say, we know for a fact that the CIA put drugs in our community, but that falls on deaf ears to some of the allies, right? We can say and tell them, and they know it, but we got to stop falling into the trap of things that keeps us from being unified. Because in the end of the day, we are all we got. And there's a fool. The village idiot can become the president again. And what are we going to do if that happens? What do we do? What do we do if they take away our voting rights? What do we do? I can go on and on. I've been talking for too long, but I was just sitting there thinking, man, it's what my state, enjoying the weather. And, all right, let's talk about it. What do y'all think?